Hello, I'm Luke Chafer, and today I'm joined by Tigerlily Blogs, who is running for the SRC's Vice President role for student activities. So first and foremost, why should students vote for you?
Because I am so invested in clubs and societies. My time in uni has just been so focused, and the activities and like the friends I've met and gained confidence and just get to do so much. I think it's just such an important of student life and like to be in that position, like organizing and making it better for everyone else. And I've got a lot of experience like coordinating with a lot of people, both in sort of organizational and creative roles, that I think I'm the perfect candidate.
So in your manifesto, you talk about these roles and you say that they've allowed you to see the SRC from a different angle and you can see some of their weaknesses. What would you say the weaknesses of the SRC are at the moment?
I think the SLC has so much on offer, like with all the workshops they offer and like their events and activities, and particularly Rag Week. But I think they don't publicize it enough. I think personally to students, like you get a lot of emails, but often students don't read long emails and it can seem a bit more formal. So I think unless you're friends with people in the SLC, you kind of miss out on other stuff. And I think specifically through clubs and societies, like by making people have these conversations and talking to your friends about it, people that you're on your course with, that I think is one of my big manifesto points of how to kind of get it through to everyone rather than just people who are kind of involved in the SSC, because I think when you're in that bubble you can kind of think a lot of people know more about it than they actually do.
Okay, so also in your manifesto, you talk a lot about welfare, which from my research seems to be quite a unique point for someone running for student activities. How do you think your role as student activities VP can influence welfare for students?
I think more specifically through clubs and societies, I think there can be a lot of sort of welfare issues, particularly in sort of the balance of which issues board members should which issues board members should take on and which ones should be related to the SLC or higher up. And I think welfare is such an important part, and by doing that through clubs and societies, like is a really good way of making student life better, both by people knowing where to reach out in the SRC to get that support. And again, like I was saying before, through clubs and societies, like so many people are involved in them. And I think working with the vice president student support is a great way of like collaborating to do that and just make sure everyone is really enjoying themselves and that any sort of important issues are getting sorted.
Okay, so whilst we're talking about welfare issues, I want to pick up on something that's been in university news over the past week or so. As the racism report that came out, it specifically mentioned sort of incidences in the social spaces of unions. How do you feel that your role as student activities could help make the changes that are required?
I think constantly organizing meetings with people that it's relevant to and finding out from them what is the most productive way, like what we can do to really support them, by organizing meetings and actively doing things. I think it's a good start, but we need to constantly be doing things like whether it's monthly and having that position, and being able to reach out through like activities and events that we're putting on, making sure that it is a safe space for everyone and that any issues that do come up, we are equipped to deal with that.
Perfect. So another thing you mentioned is cross-campus sort of collaboration, which appears to be a bit of a buzzword in sort of these manifestos. So what does that actually mean for you, and how are you going to increase it?
For me, it means organizing, the way I'd like to do it is sort of organizing events that coordinating with the higher members of the QMU and the GU and GUSA. I think Freshers Week and Rag Week are quite a good way of doing that. Organizing events with Rag Week, you can have them in the QMU and have them in the GU and have various things in GUSA. That kind of brings everyone together and just making their members aware, and having events that encourage people to join together, basically. I think just having constant discussions and meetings with the presidents of all the representative bodies and the vice presidents as well. I think actively doing things together rather than being quite separate So yeah, basically through meetings and discussions and like organizing events together.
Okay, perfect. So moving on to the last section, just want to talk a little bit about Freshers Week. Um, so what does your dream Freshers look like?
Non-stop activities.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of organized fun. I even just in my daily life just love organizing stuff like that. So I think sort of some morning things like casual sort of creative things, and then in the afternoon more kind of, I don't know, activities like games and sports and stuff, and then like going into the evening with all the events that are in the QMU and GU. So to me it's just very jam-packed, and I think whether providing like more outdoor activities as well, such as like the GU has the open mic like on the grassy knoll, but there's so much space within the quad as well, which we use for the Freshers Week stalls. But if we can use them throughout the rest of the week as well for various activities. And I think that's also an opportunity to kind of collaborate with Goosa, like have a sports day esque thing. And yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.